Yo, what's up guys, Shujinkydink here, and welcome to a video all about down one, down one, down one, poking, hit advantage. This is something I'm seeing constantly in the comments. People dislike the game because down ones are happening, hit advantage is not being respected, that kind of thing. And I'm here to tell you a little bit about looking deeper into that, and I have two characters here. I have Cassie Cage and I have Scarlet. Cassie Cage, of course, has one of the better mids in the game at 9 frames, and Scarlet does not. So I'm going to try and give you some insight into the workarounds of how you can think about down ones and then apply it to maybe your character. For example, Cetrion has a 10 frame low, which isn't as good as Cassie's 9 frame mid, but it's still not too bad, so it's a good option in a lot of scenarios. So let's start with down one. So Cassie's down one. All it is we're looking at hit advantage, which is 10, which means that this jails into her mid. There's absolutely nothing that the opponent can do there. So that is not a bad option. You'd literally have to mess that up by 7 frames for someone to hit you out of it. So, you know, as long as you're practicing kind of going into that, and then yeah, so then we go into our forward 4, and if we look at the hit advantage on our forward 4, we're at 17. So if we stop it there, now we're at 17 hit advantage. We're right about here. We could do back 2 if we want. What's the frames on back 2? 11 frames, so that should jail no problem. Again, you have 6 frames to get all of that to link. So that is kind of the mindset that I have around on hit advantage and getting around it. So it's all looking at, you know, what's most guaranteed for me. So this right here, down 1 and forward 4. Again, you'd have to mess it up by like 7 frames for them to even get a chance at the poke out. And once you hit him with a forward 4, you don't even always have to go into the string. You could just leave it at forward 4, and then puts you at a good range for back 2. And I don't really know Cassie enough to know what to do with that, but you know, if they're still disrespecting your frame advantage, they're going to get hit by all of these, and that's a lot of damage in and of itself. So that's almost 80 damage. That's almost 100 damage just because someone's disrespecting your plus frames. So, you know, it's a little bit of a workaround, finding, you know, ways to guarantee one thing that guarantees the next thing that guarantees a third, you know. And then worst case Ontario, they block your forward 4 and you're at 0. So, oh no. So there are times where you're going to have to take a chance and maybe you're going to get beaten out. I mean, that's just how it happens, especially if it's online. Maybe there's a couple frames here and there that get, you know, kind of mashed up or whatever. So there's that. And now let's switch to Scarlet. Scarlet, you have to be a little bit more creative because she's got down 1, and her down 1 is 8 hit advantage, so it's actually less than the majority of the cast. And then for mids, she really doesn't really guarantee much at all. You can maybe get the forward 2 out, but even then, if you mess it up by like that's a bit of a tighter frame window. You got like 3 or 4 frames where you might be able to mess that up there. So there's a couple different ways that I was thinking of doing this with Scarlet. So one of them is down 1 parry, because if they're disrespecting your hit advantage after that, they're going to get hit by the parry. A little bit of a riskier option, maybe not the greatest, but you got to be creative when it comes to being a character without the greatest mid. So another one is down 1, using the hit advantage of your down 1 to walk back and whiff punish their poke. This is a big one, and I think this is one that could, you know, really change the way that you think about the game. So for example, if you do down 1, whiff punish their poke, and then now you're kind of back to where Scarlet wants to be. It's one of the reasons that Scarlet isn't the greatest up close, and she doesn't really have too many options in there, and I found this when I was playing her in the beta, is because that's not really where she wants to be. Every character does need a weakness. Scarlet, from pretty much like here backwards, has a pretty good advantage against most of the other characters. So finding creative ways kind of in here to kind of, you know, stay in advantage and move yourself backwards, I think is important. So that's one that I found. Down 1, walk backwards, punish their poke or whatever they're trying to do. If they're mashing down 2, it works even better. You might get hit if you have like a Jade down 2 or something. So, but then you're at like the right range. You can just down 1, walk back, and block. I'll do something like that. I don't know. Gotta be creative. So when it comes to hit advantage, you know, don't just think of, you know, I'm doing one move into another move. You know, maybe try and set some other things up. You know, so you can kind of, I don't know, keep a chain going. Keep your advantage going as long as you can until you can move back to the spot that you want to dominate. There you go. Thinking a little bit outside of the box is really crucial in this game, as most of the other NRS games have featured pretty prominent mid attacks for most characters, or low attacks, or overhead attacks, all of which you can't just duck and punish. And that is a mind game in this game, and it's one you got to be aware of and be ready for. You know, every time you go for a throw, that's a high. You could get poked out of it. You know, just be careful about that and don't over-condition your opponent, or, you know, get patterny with things, because a lot of the times I can down 2 throws just because I get C patterns of when you go for them, or you do like a very obvious walk up and grab, and I down 2 that. So I feel like I've talked about some of this stuff before, but there are some newer viewers on the channel and some people who are still like getting frustrated with it, so I did want to take a little bit of a spin and kind of take it in a more creative direction, I think. I hope you guys found this helpful. I really did want to. This is not an aspect of the game I really struggle with. Again, Cetrion has a 10 frame low, so I am a little bit privileged in that regard. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, or you have any comments or questions about anything that I talked about, leave them down in the comments down below. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, because it really helps me out, and subscribe, because we make new videos every single day. #BigDinkEnergy, and we'll see all you guys in the next video.